considering that. Nope.
Well, it doesn't look like it, and we're going to see Frosty. I'm not remotely surprised about that. He played phenomenally in the last series. Hasn't lost a game yet on air. 3-0 for him, personally. He's the only person who can boast a 100% record against NG Blue. We'll have to see if he can do the same against the Yacht Boys. Many people have been fearing the Yacht Boys. We've said it time and time again, and we can see why. We haven't seen them lose that much on air just yet. The opener, the cheap shots coming out there, actually looks like No Life is going to be the main target from the start. That's a little bit different from what we saw for NG Blue, who slightly preferred Frosty. We see the Deep Freeze. Can they get any more follow-up onto Chaz? It doesn't look like it. The Frostjaw, he gets the Hodge before it though, and they're going to land the CC. They're going to try turn this around onto Gelubaba.
Yep, Frosty needs to follow up with some damage. Looks like they're going to drop the Shadow Fiend, but he dropped that into the Ice Block. They Mass Dispel it off. Great move by Frosty. Can they capitalize any more damage? They have the Silence, but Frosty getting sheeped up, not able to really follow it up. I think he's going to want to save that for later. An attack over onto No Lifer, but not really coordinated very well. The Oppo is definitely going to be looking for better cross CC in the next one. Frosty caught into a bash, a Deep Freeze on Chaz, but No Lifer is left open, and No Lifer will stop the sheep out from Gelu, and now counter pressure him immensely. So much damage. He's on hypothermia. Down to 18, down to 6, down to 3.
1%.
Barely able to block in time, but they MD it. That's it. Just one more spell. They don't get it off. Gelu hangs on by a thread. Miley will recover, but with Gelu being down 2, Ice Block's method are looking unstoppable.
Yeah, and Thessia used the blind there as well, so nothing really coming out of that. We see the full horror into the fear on Miley. He's trying to sit through this one. Klessia does have his cloak available, so he's not in too much trouble. The DR Sheep is going to force that out. They still have the stun for Miley. Who are they going to hit? Gelu looks like he's their target of choice. They don't have the signs to follow this up, so it looks like he's going to be okay. The Iron Bark comes out. DFA trying to get some counter pressure with the dance. You can see that Thessia, of course, running that subtlety spec. It's generally preferred in this particular matchup. No Life are taking a little bit of pressure here. Gets locked out. Prophecy gets locked out on his MD there, but they follow it up with the Cyclone. They do have decent cross CC, but they're just unable to force many cooldowns. They only have one block down on No Lifer, and Method are definitely looking in command right now.
I think No Lifer's trying to hang on to that block. Chaz decided to bubble and break out of crowd control. This should allow them to set up pretty cleanly, but they don't do it. They're going to follow up with a Silence on Miley. I expect Miley should have trinketed this maybe. He's going to get away with it for now. They don't have any follow-up, so definitely good read by Miley to know there was no follow-up. Gelu is hugging this filler's life maybe in a moment, but Frosty's right there. So Gelu is very brave being where he is right now. It looks like they're trying to get some CC over onto Chaz. They've got a kidney shot. No follow-up just yet, though. And without that follow-up CC, Chaz is doing a great job just spam healing No Lifer. As long as he can get some casts, I think he faked the counter spell, but he gets cloned up. This is easily going to be the second block from No Lifer. He's trying to rely on that Save by the Light, but this is Shadow Dance Fantasia, so he's going to be doing so much damage. No Lifer down to 40%. Chaz is barely hanging on, man. I can't believe that they decided to not trade the Ice Block there. I think they're still going to have to. Yes, No Lifer will use his second Ice Block for at least another 2 minutes. Gelu's Ice Block is coming up in 30 seconds, and the Op Boys were so far behind, but Method didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, Method have gone from forcing 2 blocks almost within enough time that they killed Gelu before the second one was even available due to that hypothermia, to a block coming back up in 17 seconds. They haven't really been able to do too much, and maybe part of that is just the fact that the cross CC coming out of the Yacht Boys has been so significant recently, and it means Frosty hasn't been able to be so offensive. He hasn't been able to be the big impact he needs to be. We see the silence onto Miley. That's going to force the trinket out because, of course, Gelu didn't quite have that block available. He does now have that cooldown available to him, but maybe they're going to look for a swap. Thessia and Miley did overlap their trinkets on that last go, so both of them could potentially die at the same time. No Lifer has nothing available. There's no trinket, no breaks on the side of Method. They need to survive this go because they could definitely win the game on Thessia or Miley if they can survive, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. Oh. No Lifer so low HP, 20%. He stole the life bloom. It's going to tick. 5%. Is he going to survive? Chaz has nothing to keep him up. He's just going to fall. Unfortunate as the double fair did land at the exact same time from Frosty. A really close game, but the Yacht Boys take it.
Yep, down goes No Lifer. They played that game out. They were looking so strong at the start, but then they just didn't have any follow-up. I feel like Chaz choosing to bubble the way that he did and they didn't capitalize with it was ultimately why they couldn't get a kill.
From composition, they could try the mirror again. Maybe the Yacht Boys, they feel Thessia is very comfortable in this salty rag. I had talked about it before. Was He did play very well in the sub rogue, but maybe he hasn't played as much as Thessia. The subtlety rogue, of course, has a huge advantage in that matchup, and we saw Waz go over to combat even in the last game against their Shadow, so maybe didn't feel so confident in it. I think the fact that Thessia started out as subtlety made him, like, kind of shows that he knew what was coming out of Method, and they are going to stick to the Shadow play. We'll have to see if they can play a little bit differently. They do seem to like Tolvaron Arena. They always seem to pick it as their second map, no matter what the matchup.
Yeah, Wizards love Tolvaron Arena. Open space is their friend. Rune's Lordron is pretty similar, but Tolvaron does have the backup of having a pillar if you need it, so I guess it's slightly more safe. Thasia is waiting in stealth. I think they're waiting for No Lifer. They don't find Thasia. They get the sap on Chaz. Now, who are they going to go after? Thasia actually had to use a Vanish very early on, so that's quite a long cooldown to have to use in the opener. Normally, you would just get that for free, and overlapping it with the Shadow Dance. So the Opboys are committing a lot of damage. No Lifer sees it coming, immediately uses his Ice Block. I like that response.
Yeah, I only like that response if they now get something going, but I think they've taken too long. I would like to see him block and then instantly try get out of it and get something going. Now they do get that, but Miley's just so far away. He gets the Shadow Melt, but they get the Deep Freeze anyways into that Rov. Gelu, he just kites away. The Shadow Fiend's coming out. I think Frosty actually trinketed, but he gets trinkets into the blind. They do bop that, but it took a little bit of time. They get the fear off of that because of the bop coming out from Chaz. That's going to be the Ice Block. They're going to maybe try, but the preempt is back on the NS. Can they purge the NS? If so, this could be really, really good for Method. Oh. They aren't able to purge it, unfortunately. Miley able to LOS that. They did get quite a few cooldowns there, including the block there.
I mean, that could have been the end of the game if they were able to take the NS off and follow up with any more damage. No Lifer is on the run, trying to kite away from Deja. Frosty caught in CC, Chaz caught in CC. No Lifer is completely alone right now. Chaz still silenced up. We can see Miley caught in Horrify. Are they going to switch to him? I think they might have kind of wanted to, but unfortunately the CC is DR'd, so they're going to have to follow it up with a Fear and commit their damage to a different target. Seems like Gelu will be the target for now. Method are doing a good job juggling this kind of strange CC chain that they started. They managed to keep it going, but they will not get any significant cooldowns. Only Miley's Heart of the Wild. They definitely were looking for a second Ice Block.
Yeah, and they were really close to forcing it. I thought that Gelu played that brilliantly because he got the sheep onto Frosty when he horrored Miley, which gave him a little gap before the fear happened, so he could make sure he topped off Gelu, and that was really the difference there. We do see the Triple C coming out now, and fortunately the sheep is off DR. I wasn't entirely sure if it was going to be, but Method, of course, on the ball with that. They'll have their DR trackers. They're completely aware of when that happens, and they're going to follow it up with the fear, but no real damage coming out. Gelu's just free to spam out that polymorph button. Of course, he doesn't have to worry about DRs in the same way that the Shadow play does with that horror. He could just freely peel himself as much as he needs to, and he's going to be completely fine.
Yeah, we can see Thasia. He wants to try and get a re-stealth, I think, here, but he is fully dotted, so he's going to have to be very quick. He goes for the re-stealth. He's trying to move in, gets one cheap shot, one Garrote Silence, but not the triple, which means that Chaz is open to just continue healing No Lifer. Seems like Gelu has finally gotten in there. He's going for the Deep Freeze. He connects the full Polymorph, so No Lifer needs to run. He's already kiting towards the center of the map. Now Blazing Speeding away, gets life gripped. That was an interesting little move by Frosty. Now looking for an MD on that Cyclone. Doesn't look like he was able to get it, unfortunately, but yeah, they don't have any more follow-up. They do follow it up. Nice play from Miley. The Shadow Dance should force an Ice Block out from No Lifer here. He's being very greedy. Barely gets that Ice Block off in time, and Chaz, I think he did not need to use this Blessing of Protection. It would have been nicer to have that to break Frosty or No Lifer out of CC. No Lifer starting an attack, a Deep Freeze on Miley, but they're not able to get the Ring of Frost. It was interrupted. Well played from the Opboys. They're going to stop No Lifer from getting anything done.
Yeah, and Method just struggling so much to get offensive pressure going. This is maybe why we would have chosen a different map, like Ruins of Lordron, because Frosty can't just cross the map and get the fear on Miley, and Miley's just positioning so well. No Lifer definitely the one in the most trouble here. The Forbearance has run out on Chaz, so he does have the bubble available should he need to use it. It looks like he's going to try sit through, though. The wings coming out. Should be able to top No Lifer off here, but again, this Deep Freeze is just interrupted by Gelu. He's able to blink CS that. No CC onto Miley once again, and Method just can't get anything going this game.
Yeah, again, No Lifer's in that position where he's just getting pressured, and under pressure it seems like it's very hard for him to accomplish anything, so Frosty's going to need to find a way to put No Lifer on his shoulders. Right now they need to survive. No Lifer is going to just trade out that Ice Block, and you can see Frosty is going to start a CC chain of his own with that Horrify into a Polymorph, so unfortunately that's going to be very DR'd. Miley was able to displace away and avoid getting feared, but now he blinks into a full Fist of Justice, and Frosty and Chaz are doing a good job CCing Miley. They don't even need No Lifer. Now they've caught him into a full fear. The ice block is over. Gelu is in trouble. There's so much damage to follow it up. He's just going to go down. I think Miley barely able to save him in time. Even still through that Iron Bark, very scary moment for the Yacht boys. But now Gelu does have a second block as soon as that hypothermia is gone. So he's definitely going to maybe want to hold back from pushing in. Miley caught in a deep freeze, connects that full polymorph, and No Lifer's going to pull the trigger. He's on hypothermia for about 1 or 2 more seconds. Miley sees that, so he's going to trinket out and save him for now. Really good coordination from the Yacht boys to not overlap cooldowns there.
Yeah, but out of nowhere, Method just randomly come on fire. They get the CC that they've been looking for all this time. Nolifer wasn't too involved in the CC chain, but he did get the sheep in the end, which was able to force Miley's trinket out. They didn't even need to use the silence in the midst of all this, and that was one dance from Thessia. We see another one up now. Can he get anything done? It doesn't look like he's having an easy time reaching his target. The Kona Cold Slow from Nolifer just doing such a good job of kiting away. He doesn't have any ice blocks available for 1 minute, but Chaz does still have that bubble available, and he will have a Blessing of Protection soon. We do see the swap over onto Miley. He doesn't have that trinket available. The bark skin comes out. The fear onto Thessia. They need to keep him in combat. Should be able to do so. Excellently done by them. They're going to sheep him up. He's so far away from his healer, but Miley comes back, dispels him. Miley does not have any cooldowns for this next go, and this could be a repeat of what happened to Mimpoike.
Method needs to keep their build-up damage on Gelu. They need to make sure that Life Bloom is on Gelu and then make a surprise swap. Miley jumping into stealth here. He needs to be incredibly careful. You can't really see where he is right now. He's so far off the camera. Now moving forward, he dispels. Ooh. This could be a good moment to attack Miley. Are they going to go for it? Doesn't look like they can just yet with Chaz caught into a sap, but as soon as these CCDRs are over, they can commit a lot of damage. Miley caught into a Horrify. Chaz knows that there's a kill here. Thasia drops the smoke bomb defensively, but that's still not enough. 4% HP remaining. It will not be enough. Thasia, you have to give him credit for trying to save him with that defensive smoke bomb, but Method set up that kill again onto the Resto Druid, and it just looked so clean.
Ultimately, it was quite clear shot calling that won them the game.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm wondering who's doing the shot calling.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you can't really tell. I think Nolifer and Prophecy have a lot of experience in this in Shadowplay in general. I'm sure they have a lot of experience in this one matchup. Prophecy, I know he does. Nolifer, maybe he's been focusing a bit more on the Rogue Mage over recent years because of how strong the competition has been, but Shadow Priests don't really have that option since they can only really play Shadow in a competitive stance. We'll have to see how this opener turns out. Last game, the Yacht Boys actually had a pretty reasonable opener, if I remember correctly, so we'll have to see if they can improve on that. Maybe try get the Ice Block again from Nolifer like they did last time.
Yeah, Chaz is just stacking up some illuminated healing shields, so it's going to buffer a little bit of the initial damage from the Yacht Boys, so I like that, the presence of mind, but he is burned like 30% of his mana doing this. Chaz, Flash of Light is a fun button. I don't think you need to keep pressing it. He's used so much mana. I wonder if that'll actually be a factor later in this game. It looks like a triple CC opener from the Yacht Boys, connecting CC on Frosty and Chaz. Nolifer completely alone. Decides to blink out, but they follow it up with a death from above, forcing that ice block. I feel like Deja could have held on to that Shadow Dance. It looks like Nolifer's going to come out of the block early, and he's taking quite a bit of pressure here. Chaz will have to Avenging Wrath to top him, and he is finally stabilized, but an interesting play for Nolifer to come out of that block so soon.
Yeah, and that's going to force the wings out from Chaz. I think he really wanted to get something going there, which I completely understand, because when you use that block and you don't get to trade out any cooldowns, it's quite frustrating. But Thessia knew that once the block was out, Nolifer would go for that play. He kind of read it, and he was able to deny anything coming out of Nolifer, despite that block diff, because of course it doesn't stop things like gouge and kick from the rogue. We'll have to see if they can get anything really going after this. The fear comes out into Miley, so once again we see Prophecy pretty much solo setting this up. He gets the disarm, he silences. Are they just going to force the block? Prophecy pretty much solo forces that, but it is at the cost of his trinket. Will they be able to punish him with some CC? We'll have to see if it can come through. The Aura Mastery comes out, that allows the Master Spell to come out from Prophecy as well. Chaz not really caught in any CC. The two of them doing such a great job of rotating breaks there. Well, it wasn't really rotating breaks because they didn't really land the CC on Chaz in the first place, but they do get the block from Gelu Barbara, and that's the important thing.
Thasia's looking to try and set up some damage right now with his Shadow Dance. He's going after Nolifer. Chaz preemptively Blessing of Protectioning him, so interesting move. Gelu does manage to spell steal that off. I think that Method are kind of committing their damage too much to Gelu. It's becoming very predictable, so maybe making more swaps to Thasia instead. I feel like they need to be a little bit more creative. Miley and Gelu seem to be doing very good cycling their cooldowns. They do land a full fear on Miley. They are going to stun up Thasia. They've got him fully dotted. I think they are going to commit to the Rogue here, but I don't think they they have enough CC really to force any cooldowns, and no, they do not. Chaz now caught in a sheep, Frosty caught in a clone, No Lifer again in a 3v1 situation. How is he going to deal with it this time? He blazing speeds away, but Thasia death from above it. No Lifer is all the way on the other side of this balcony, trying to kite back towards his paladin, who is now caught in a full blind. Surprised to not see him just bop this and remove it. I guess he's afraid he'll need to use his bubble pretty soon, so he doesn't want to go on forbearance. But now he's caught into a cheap shot. He could have immuned all of this and just been casting heals on No Lifer. Decides to use the bop on No Lifer instead, but now he's caught into a silence, just unable to heal with that entire Avenging Wrath. He needs to start getting some casts. Finally able to get some healing. Now Gelu in trouble. He's on the run, but he's getting rooted up. So much damage up from No Lifer. Going to be forcing that second block.
Yep, and they do kick the MD as well, so good job by Thessia, able to deny that, which could have potentially been quite a lot of trouble because the silence would have followed it up. They could have forced the trinket from Miley, so Thessia with the presence of mind. And that's really the story of this game for me, is the Yacht boys, they've been doing such a good job of living, and it's mainly down to Thessia. And I know that most of the Shadow players, and including myself when we've played against Thessia, the reason that you don't really target him is just because he's so good at reading everything a Shadow play does. He'll pre-vanish your setups. He's so annoying to play against. No Lifer, this is why he's having such a hard time, because Thessia is that rogue. And we're going to put my neck out on the line and say he's the best rogue in this matchup, certainly in Europe.
Thasia, unfortunately, it seems like Method overlapped their crowd control on Thasia, which means he's going to have free reign with this Shadow Dance. And No Lifer does appear to have a block available, immediately cold snapping for it. And now Chaz might be the one who is slightly behind. We see silence on Gelu to stop CC, and without that silence, Smiley can kind of know that he's safe to just roll hots and push forward. They cannot kill him without silence, so I'd like to see Miley get a little bit more aggressive here. It looks like he's moving in. Not going for any clones just yet, just jumping in. Maybe going to be looking for a bash, not 100% here. I think he wants to get a clone, but No Lifer's got him caught in a deep freeze, so he's not able to follow up any CC just at this moment. Now pulling back defensively at the pillar. Frosty is chasing after him, looking like maybe they want to swap to Miley. Miley sees them stacking on top, so he blinks away. Good awareness from Miley to make sure that Method don't dogpile him.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So they're just going to be able to reset a little bit here. Both the teams, looks like they're not too interested in committing right now. Actually, Thessia goes for that blind onto Chaz. He does have all his breaks. He's probably looking to force one, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. The Sheep's actually DR as well. So unfortunate for the Yacht boys. They're not going to really be able to follow up too much onto Chaz. Maybe he'll stone form out of this. Doesn't look like he's even going to do that. So a completely failed defensive push by the Yacht boys. And this, well, actually, having said that, No Lifer taking a fair bit of damage. That's going to force the Wings on us. They do get some cooldowns here. The Iron back from Miley, just trying to make sure that Gelu is completely topped off in case Method try anything cheeky. Like you say, it seems a little bit predictable for Method. I mean, the Yacht boys, they forced another cooldown out here. It wasn't the best defensive push. The Sheep was still DR after the blind, so not so great. But they get the Wings, they get a couple of cooldowns, whereas Method not really doing too much right now. Having said that, the silence onto Miley might just force the block on its own.
Yeah, Gelu is taking quite a lot of damage, doesn't block.
Wow.
Big misplay from Gelu there, unfortunately, which means that Method lead now in the series 2-1, and Method are finding their thunder. They're finding their place. Frosty is definitely raising the motivation, raising the morale of the team Method. I think they're probably really happy that they tried him out.
Yep, second cooldown. It's better because in some ways, because it means every time there's a deep freeze available, you can just silence the mage and make sure that CC doesn't land, assuming you're not CC yourself. But the 5-second silence is going to stick, and this is what we've been waiting for.
Oh my. The Yacht boys say, you know what, we're going to beat you in a mirror, so they're breaking out Thasia now on mage instead with a Valet on Shadow Priest. So the Shadow Priest envy is real this time. Thasia and No Life are already taking quite a bit of damage just off of the gates. Chaz was interrupted on a heal, and they almost killed No Lifer off of that lockout. Valet getting Frostjawed. No Lifer very afraid of dying right now. A double fear out from Valet. Chaz decides to trinket. The entire team decides to trinket. They're looking for a block out from Thasia, but Miley will trade only his trinkets, so definitely the Yacht boys getting ahead here.
Yeah, that was such a nice opener for the Yacht boys. Thessia with the blink CS, all the damage onto No Lifer, and then Villa is able to push in because No Lifer blinks behind the pillar. There's no damage coming out. He blinks in, gets that fair. 3 trinkets down already on the side of Method. This is such a nice opener for the Yacht boys. Well, the question is, how do they progress from here. They're behind the pillar. Chaz actually walks away from the pillar. I'm not sure if I agree with that one. He was probably scared of the fear coming out from Villi. He's going to get caught in the full sheep because of it. And Frofsy now in the Hodge doesn't have a trinket. Can they follow it up? They should get the dispersion here. He instantly trades out that dispersion. But if they can fear off it, they might get the bubble as well. The stone form coming out. Are they able to get that? The trinket coming out from Villi to make sure he gets that fear. That's going to force the bubble. And Method are so far behind.
Yeah, this is really looking like the Yacht Boys games, unless they throw it. I think that they should be able to take this very easily. Thasia is getting pressure, decides to trade out that block, doesn't want to throw the game, sees that there's CC on Miley, sees that there's damage available, just trades that block very effectively. Chaz, No Lifer, and Frofsy, they have to be afraid. They need to play defensive. You can see they're back at the pillar. They're trying to kite away. No Lifer still building up some damage just in case they can get something going here, but Chaz is caught into a deep freeze, now into a full fear, and No Lifer could be in trouble. I would like to see this attack actually onto Frofsy. He did not have dispersion available, and No Lifer just deflected that with an ice block, so I feel like that was kind of a bad target for the Yacht Boys.
Yeah, maybe if they could have hit Frofsy, maybe it was just difficult because he was out of LOS. I actually thought that Frofsy gripped the fear there, so a little bit unlucky on that one. But like you say, they don't really get too much from it. And on the other side, Miley caught into that fear. Can they follow it up? It doesn't look like it, but Thessia might just go down through damage. Holy Paladins struggle to out-heal it without the wings. The Aura Mastery comes out, but they get the sheep. He's got a bubble. He's going to have to block anyways. He won't have to. The Wings NS does come out, though, and now Miley doesn't really have anything. His Trinket will be coming up in 4 seconds, so they should be okay.
Thasia was on hypothermia and had to cold snap for an extra heal, and now has no blocks.
Yeah, that's definitely not good then. So they suddenly take the lead in this case. Method do have the trinkets that were overlapped. They're now all back available. That's the one good thing about overlapping, is that at least you get the cooldowns rolling, I suppose. But we do see Thessia caught in that silence right now. He could potentially go down here. Miley gets locked on the hill. He's going to fall. This is going to be the series. The Yacht Boys eliminated in the mirror. There's no finer fashion. Method have just been dominating in the shadow, and they're not going to let the Yacht Boys get away with the mirror. I thought they looked like they were ahead in this one, but a few mistakes.
They threw the game.
Yeah.
They threw the game. They had that 100%, and they threw it away. So that was definitely, I think, a bit of a mistake there.
The damage
by the I mean, yeah, the damage is very. It's kind of funny that it's so different, because I thought that
similar.
I thought that the Yacht Boys were winning, but they did almost half of the damage.
Yeah, I mean, the Yacht Boys certainly had a very good start to this game, but it's really difficult on a map like Dalaran to push in on the other team. I actually thought that the Yacht Boys were doing a really good job of it. I mean, Villi was doing exactly what he needs to do. He was pushing in, getting those big fears. At the same time, Thessia was able to follow up with sheep. So I actually thought the Yacht Boys were playing it completely fine. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I'd love to see the replay of that